to week 2 of getting stuff done. These are, they look a lot worse on camera than they do in person, which makes me very nervous. These are the supports for my farm sign that I have had since October, and I'm dying to put up, but I needed to get this done first. It's another one of those things that's not perfect, but it's done. And if I can just keep the chickens out of the concrete. Dumb birds. But at least they're picking up the weeds. So this is my Sunday task, and it's the only thing that I'm getting done today. Church was a great service. It ran half an hour over. I've got another appointment tonight. So it's everything I can do to get this done. Now I've got to run in the house and get ready for my thing tonight. And we'll come back tomorrow and see what we get done tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be working on the rabbit run. it's another squeeze things in between meetings and appointments day. I love watching these chickens in the dirt. It's just so adorable. They're mad at me right now because I'm not letting them out first thing in the morning because they keep hiding their eggs. Literally one day, I think it was Sunday, I got one egg. These chickens are laying 8 to 11 eggs every day, and I got one egg. They're hiding them on the property, and I can't figure out where. So they are stuck in the coop until after I've been able to get at least 7 eggs, and then I'll let them out. So that's about lunchtime on their schedule. And I'm sure there's still a couple of them who are laying around the property. I just saw one hop off the porch. One got stuck in here yesterday. She went in to lay her egg and then couldn't get out. So I'm sure there's one on the front porch under the wood pile. But today was hose day. We are supposed to be in the 70s all week, or for the rest of the week, and not lower than 50 at night. I am not fooled. We are still a month away from last frost, so I'm being very careful about what I'm putting outside, but I can at least get the hoses out. Because even if we do get cold, it'll probably just be overnight or 24 hours, and everything will thaw out the next day. The chicken hose, the sprayer I have on that is a metal sprayer, and all the parts are metal, so even if it freezes, it shouldn't break. The hose might, but the sprayer shouldn't. You saw I got the front sign done. Very glad to have that done. I've had that sitting on my mantle since last fall, and it's deserved better than that, so I'm really glad to have that up. Perfect is the enemy of done, so I'm sure you noticed that it's not quite even. I should have double checked the depth on the holes before I cemented the posts in. I was very careful about checking that they were facing each other properly so that I could attach the sign properly. I forgot to check the heights. So they're a little off kilter, but so am I, so it's all good. I'm trying to decide about I'm going to plant a couple of clematis around the posts just so they'll climb up the posts and give some, some color on that stark white. I'm trying to decide about putting a raised bed underneath it to put some flowers in. But if I do that, I'm going to have to do some kind of a wattle fence or something around it, because the chickens will just get into it and tear everything up. All of my beds in the front yard are getting torn up pretty bad. So I've got to figure out something to do about that. But that's not today's problem. Today is hoses, and I think I've got the hoses all set initially. I need to put a splitter in the garden and have 2 25 to 50 foot hoses come off of that for the sprinklers. One to do the main garden and one to do the neglect garden. That's kind of what I'm calling it. The new garden that I didn't get to do anything with last year was always intended to be for things that I don't have to pay attention to. I plant them and mulch them and forget about them until harvest time. So my corn, my winter squash, my potatoes, my garlic, my onions, that don't need a lot of weeding if I mulch properly. They don't need a lot of picking over, pest remediation, although the squash will need. But as many as I'm planting, we should be okay. So I can just set it, forget it, and worry about all the fussy stuff, the tomatoes, the peppers, the lettuces, that you have to be picking regularly and you have to be weeding all the time, and that you're eating all summer long. So that's what is in the main garden this year. This year I've also got 2 beds dedicated to flowers, just because I couldn't decide what to grow since I had all this extra space. So flowers it is, which is the other project that I have for today, which is getting a bunch of seeds started for flowers. Again, I'm a month out from last frost, so I can't plant most of these flowers direct. I realized today that last frost is the day of my surgery. So I'm going to be playing chicken, pardon the expression, with the frost, because I've got to get stuff in the ground before I go out for my surgery. There's a couple of things I can't, but everything else has got to be in the ground before my surgery. So I'm going to get these started. Where are you? Let's go look for some eggs, because she's over behind the big shed making an awful lot of noise. And that's the sound she usually makes when she's laid an egg. Let's go see if there's an egg over there. This is what I'm talking about. I know there's an egg around here somewhere. That's the sound they make when they lay their eggs. But I can't find them anywhere. I looked around in the shed and around behind the shed. I looked down the slope to see if they're laying them down on the slope to the lower pasture. I can't find them anywhere. One of these days, one of these hens is going to disappear on me, and I'm going to think something got her. And 3 weeks later, she's going to show up with a brood of chicks, which I'm fine with, but I'd really like to know where they're laying these eggs. the chickens would like the dead bees as a snack, but they don't seem very interested. So, but at least it got them across. Ooh, what have you got? One of the dotties has something fairly big, maybe a vole or something. I don't know. But I'd be very happy if they would figure out that there's good eats on this side of the creek, because I would rather they were coming over here than going out into the road. I had thought this would be an easy cleanup. I just wanted to snag the boxes off the top of the hives and put them in storage until it's warm enough for me to extract them. I'm leaving the brood boxes out here. As you probably saw, and why I have this on today, there's a lot of bees flying around there, bees and wasps, and I don't think they're from the hive. I think they're robbers here from other hives in the area, which I'm fine with. If they come in and clean that out, that's fine. If they come and move in and make a home here, that saves me $250 on getting new bees, which I wasn't going to do this year anyway. But if somebody decides to move in, they are more than welcome. So I'll leave those there. I can't really extract those anyway, because the honey's all intermixed with the brood and remnants of that. So I'll just leave it be. Kind of a low-key day today. I did something. What did I do at lunchtime? I don't remember what I did at lunchtime. You know what I did at lunchtime because you saw it, but I don't remember. That's how these days go. They just kind of all bleed together. But I've got the mower tractor back in operation, so now it'll be easier for me to tool around the property. And I have a meeting at 6 and a meeting at 7:30, so I need to go in and make some dinner so I can get through all of that. So we'll do this again tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're starting on the roof. Whoa, where is it? Over there. There it is. We're going to start on the roof. All right. So for two people who've never really done roofing before, I think that went fairly well. We're a little wonky in a couple of places, but it's up. Now it's not done. The panels weren't long enough to go the whole length. So I need to run to Lowe's tonight and pick up a couple more and a pair of tin snips to cut it to the right length. But this is far enough down that I can reach that to be able to attach the remaining panels. So I can't thank Josh enough. That took us about an hour and a half, and I really appreciate him helping me problem solve and being the tall person and getting up there. So we are a little bit closer to having this done. I got to finish doing that, and then I've got to do the wiring. So tomorrow I'm going to try and get the floor wired. Fingers crossed. We'll see how we do. So I ran into Lowe's early this morning. I had bought a special blade for my circular saw to cut the panels that I need for the rest of the roof down. But unfortunately, they don't carry blades that size either at Lowe's or Home Depot in the number of teeth that I need to cut the polycarbonate panels. So I've ordered some online, and they're supposed to come this evening. So in the meantime, I'm going to take this opportunity and start getting the wire down for the floor. James has come to inspect. I don't know if I showed you, and I don't know if they have any there now. I have found two of the places where the chickens are sneaking eggs on me. This is just a tote that's been sitting here in the shed for ages. And the other spot, oh, no, none under there right now, but I found a couple in here too. So I could try and discourage them from doing this, but I'd rather they were laying here where I know to look than that they start going to look somewhere else. So I'm going to leave that tote there, and they can lay eggs to their heart's content. All right, I need to get this big old roll of wire into the shed and start cutting it up. soil, which that's fine. Topsoil is pretty cheap. I think I paid $3 a bag for this. So I'll pick up another 10 bags, and that should be plenty to line this whole thing up to a decent height to let them dig. In case I didn't explain it before, the chicken wire on the bottom is to keep the rabbits from digging out, and small predators from digging in. The walls, in general, chicken wire is not strong enough to actually prevent determined predators from getting in. You really need hardware cloth for that. So I'm going to do the bottom row, or like the bottom half of the walls in hardware cloth, and the top half in chicken wire. And then I'm also going to cover it, at least this side and the back, with tarps to prevent too much wind and rain getting in. And those we can adjust depending on the weather. But I'm done for the night. I may be done for the weekend. Tomorrow I have to write a sermon for church, and I don't know how much of my day that's going to take. When I get it done, I am rewarding myself with a trip to this really great agway over in Cobleskill, where I'm hoping to pick up seed potatoes and possibly pullets. They were advertising that they had black copper Moran's pullets yesterday. So I want to go and see if they still have those and how old these pullets are. If they're chicks, I don't think I can take them on, maybe. But if they're feathered out, then I can put them in the chicken tractor and trust them while I'm down in Virginia in a couple of weeks. But we'll see what they've got. Or I'll talk to Josh and Avery and see if they mind feeding baby chicks while we're gone. I don't even know. But that's it for tonight. I'm gonna get this trash put away, go in, and I think I'm gonna take a shower. I've got cuts all over myself from the wire. So I just want to get those cleaned out and get some of the dirt off. And we'll see if we come back tomorrow. Alright, floor is done. It's not packed super hard, but I don't necessarily want it to be because the rabbits are just going to dig at it anyway. I do still have a couple of totes to put out here to build up to turn into like hideaways for them. And it looks like I need a couple more bags just for that front corner, which I kind of want to build up to a ramp to the hatch that's going to be there for the rabbits to come and go out of. I ran out of spoons today. I had a wonderful trip out to the Agway in Cobleskill. They have a wonderful collection of garden supplies. I got seeds there, I got some hose connectors I needed, and I got my potatoes. I'd asked and she said, no, the seed potatoes haven't come in yet, and I'm really mad about it. And then I went over to the shelf and she had 5-pound bags of potatoes. She just hadn't had like the 25-pound totes of potatoes. So I've got 4 different varieties of potatoes that are ready to go in the ground as soon as I get those beds turned. And I have help coming next week. I'm not sure if they're going to want to be shared on the channel, but if they are, I'll introduce you, and we're going to get more work done that's not just this rabbit run, although I am getting the rabbit run done next week. So thank you for coming along. I hope you'll come back and see what we get up to next. Good night, everybody.